Jazzpunk is the perfect spy film satire, the perfect sci-fi comedy, the perfect walk-in simulator, and the perfect comedy game. So why am I the only one who's getting existential dread from it? Jazzpunk is one of my favorite games of all time, from the inventive visual style to the comedy and even the plot. There's something artistically beautiful in this game's look and play. The amount of jokes permitted is probably insane, and people often describe this game as an absurdist aneurysm-inducing super drug. And all this despite the subject matter being James Bond? James Bond, the secret agent who's got a recent or upcoming theatrical release, you know? Action-adventure films where a secret agent has the mission of stopping a great organization that poses an immeasurable threat to the world, working under the United Kingdom's government using top-tier technology and presenting impeccable skill. And they're going up against a guy who got into a fight with a Honda! Here's where I remind you to subscribe for amazing content and support me on Patreon cause I like money, cause I don't know, it didn't fit anywhere else in the... Should be told, I'm not a fan of spy films. There's so many and countless of them use the exact same tropes over and over. Just ask James Bond himself. The suit, the moral compass, the setting, the Bond girls, the scenes, the Secret Service. It's all a beautiful recursion of the same tropes for decades. Finding a new twist every now and then, but these tropes are precisely what makes spy films so good. And yet it also makes them incredibly easy to make fun of. I think Jazzpunk covers 80% of the tropes. Take the first level, having at its center a building which combines a large enterprise building with the Cathedral of Basel, structures which represent two of the most common tropes in spy flick villains, which means they are either millionaires or Russians, or both sometimes. For frick's sake, they made a whole segment dedicated to the map movement trope. Your base of operations is a stinkhole in a subway, and here's just straight up the James Bond barrel. The level selection is actually one of the best examples of the tropes. Level 2 is a Japanese alleyway featuring the obligatory bathroom scene. Level 3 is a ticket lodge which introduces you to the main antagonist, all meanwhile there's some cultish stuff happening at night. And eventually you get the inevitable betrayal from the character who was obviously a traitor. And level 4 is the layer of the bad guy combined with the cyber aesthetics of the rest of the game. Now these aren't just throwaway locations, they are intertwined with comedy specifically designed for that area. However, don't worry, we'll discuss that in a later exhibit. This philosophy extends to the rest of the game. They make fun of things they want to make fun of and they proceed to spin upon those things they made fun of. I imagine this game's parody is separated on 3 layers. The parody, the jokes, and the jokes of parody. It sounds like I'm tripping because, that's precisely what it is. By spinning on your own spin is how you set up a situation where the audience's expectations are challenged and then challenged again. You need an example?
Vodka martini. Shaken, not stirred.
This is probably the most popular recurring line in James Bond filmography. Why do we care about the spy's drink preference of all things? It's to the point where they create a staple out of it. Why is James Bond always wearing a suit? Why can't he wear, some casual clothes? Why does James Bond often take the anti-hero-like personality? It makes no sense. But that's the deal. The identity of the secret spy is insanely important to your spy film, because the spy in your spy film is often the most memorable part. Otherwise, we'd get Goldfinger instead of James Bond 007 Goldfinger. And it's why we don't have The Spy Who Shagged Me, instead having Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me. That's why we have The Bourne Identity, at all. Secret agents without a personality are not memorable. Sure, not all good secret agent films are titled after their agents, but all the good ones bother to construct these personalities, whether it's based on an idea or a dynamic. Refer to Smith and Jenko in 21st Jump Street or K&J in Men in Black. So then, did they pull a Harry Palmer by making the spy whose personality is basically the antithesis of Bond? No, they straight up didn't give him one. Poly blank. Blank polygons. Even though they technically did give Poly Blank a face in the trailers, your character in-game has no personality. This is just standard in video games, but Jazzpunk isn't a game where you need to relate to the playable character for any reason at all. They could have given him a personality besides has no actual arms and just uses cutouts of them. But they didn't. They wanted you to play as a simulated entity where you can easily forget they even are a secret agent in the first place. They ultimately created a twist on a twist, and this twist allowed them to play gags that you never see on a normal spy film parody. You're almost playing as a living shitpost, a jack-in-the-box. Any spontaneously strange things that your character decides to do are on character because you have this comedy-based secret agent with no actual personality. However, just making fun of spy films isn't exactly what makes Jazzpunk so striking. Introducing Jazzpunk Director's Cut, a DLC for Jazzpunk that expands the second level considerably, with Blade Runner inspiration of all things. Sci-fi is just the second leg of the beast that is Jazzpunk. They probably figured that just making fun of spy films was kinda weak. It already has been done before, and you'd surprise no one. But a fusion? Oh yeah. Sci-fi is a very peculiar element in Jazzpunk, as even though the game itself is already a spy comedy, the plot instead focuses on a sci-fi narrative, where Polyblank consumes drugs in order to go into these simulated missions. And even though robots are present since level 1, I think sci-fi elements really begin to pop out in level 2 onwards. Really, it comes down to the aesthetics of what would be allowed in the world of Jazzpunk. Finding a giant wedding cake that opens up to reveal a Quake-like would make no sense if they didn't give themselves the freedom to incorporate the absurd gadgets from sci-fi stories. I mean, spy films already have some form of sci-fi element with the items the secret spy gets to use, but if we turn this to 11 and then transform the basic idea into part of the game's identity, we're once again twisting on a twist. This opens up a whole can of informatic jokes and allows for the development of the plot. Or what plot? There is no plot. Yep, the plot of this game is just events that link the player along the levels, with only some slight references to sci-fi ideas to transition between these levels. Sure, Polyblank uses appeals to enter missions, but it's just a nod to the happening, not really a plot point. And it works really well at creating an illusion, at least to some people. I mean, in the end, the point of Jazzpunk isn't the plot, it's actually the comedy, but thanks to their incorporation of game themes into the plot, it's possible to put it aside without causing any harm. But the best part about the incorporation of sci-fi is visual style and look. It's damn important in games. Here's a prototype I made myself. Would you play this shit? I mean, why do you think this video looks like it does? Because I want to be a perfectionist? Hell no, I just wanted to go, wow, this dude is really good and I should be subscribing, which if you haven't done yet. Walking simulators are a genre, I guess. I mean, even Kojima has made one. Kojima. As the name implies, you walk in these games, but all the good ones have something in common, and that is the way you can screenshot any image and use it as your wallpaper. Like, look, it's a tongue bush! If you know me, you probably know I like my environmental design a lot, and it's precisely for this reason. Good environments are memorable and Jazzpunk really nails this aspect. Sure, you've got your street, but it's made to have this 50s Adam look, and you have this hotel, but it's made to look like promotional material for Stranger Things. And all these visual details blend together so well thanks to the usage of sci-fi in the game's identity. This game looks like music at times. One of the environments I like most is this notable segment in between levels 3 and 4, where everything looks like ASCII art and the chromatic aberration is on flick. But really, this is a game that looks insanely interesting despite the lack of graphical prowess or complex modeling. It is by all means evidence of how indie games should take more time to polish concepts that are execution heavy, at least in the visual department. Now, normal walking simulators are 70% walking, but Jazzpunk stops the walking every so often to focus on the comedy. Because let me tell you, the comedy? I want a schnauze with my Wiener Schnitzel. This is one of the quotes that inspired the comedy of Jazzpunk. Oh no, but for real. Two movies are often cited by the developers for the game's inspiration in comedy: Airplane and Top Secret. Now, Top Secret is amazing and the stars of the code you heard at the start of the exhibit, but you're probably not familiar with it. However, Airplane? Oh boy, they invented I like my men like I like my coffee. Liquid. These movies have a huge impact on the comedy, not just the idea of having surreal and slapstick humor as the main display of comedy, but also the idea of flooding the content with jokes. Airplane is documented to have about 7 jokes per minute, and it has comedy on a wide range. Jazzpunk just follows these steps with wordplay, absurdist comedy, dark comedy, and game comedy, with jokes everywhere to keep the player engaged. There's no such thing as a per minute statistic because games are interactive. You need to do stuff. Walking simulators need you to move. And it's not all the time that they make it interesting though. So how did Jazzpunk make walking interesting? This game is designed to reward exploration with comedy, without the need for player progression. This means that any jokes the player encounters are a direct result of their choices, turning the activity of walking into what we can now perceive as a game.
I have 4th degree burns all over my entire face.
When the game shows you a joke, it hands to you on a plate the beautiful punchline. No other comedy game does this. In fact, comedy games aren't even a damn genre. If you think comedy games, you probably think of the Stanley Parable, this game, and the Last of Us 2 Game of the Year edition. Oh, and Monkey Island, that one's pretty funny. But the point is that comedy in video games is uncommon and it's tricky to pull off. And while surely Stanley Parable has a lot of verbal comedy, Jazzpunk has visual comedy which is driven by the player and designed to predict their timing to use it for the express purpose of extra punchlines. The fact that comedy in Jazzpunk is interactive is one of the principal showcase of why Jazzpunk might be the funniest game ever made. Comedy isn't supposed to be interactive. Punchlines are often about surprise and expression, so when you allow the player to be the cause of the setup and punchline, you make a truly engaging experience that you will not see anywhere else. Ultimately, what I'm trying to say is, Jazzpunk is extremely underrated and underappreciated. Once you look past the love on the fun layer, you truly realize that Jazzpunk is a meticulously planned masterpiece of a walking simulator. And all that is to say, Luis, please call me, I want to make Jazzpunk 2.